Welcome to the Bree Pod. I'm here with me, Bree. It's been a while since we've touched base and really checked in with each other. So I decided to make this episode my episode and to give you a bit more of a deeper look into my life. So far, I have shown you a lot of ugly parts, or at least at the time when I was not in a better healing place, I called ugly. But as I have been growing and learning and going to counseling and getting the health, the healing and growth that I need, I'm starting to see that the ugly parts, or what I thought was ugly, were actually parts of me that either stayed and helped me build a better foundation of myself, or left and parted from me, where they needed to be, even if at the time I thought that it needed to stay. One of the things I wanted to talk about is a life of a spoonie, and I wanted to come from both directions. One being the spoonie, and then also coming from a place of sharing with people who may know a spoonie. I want to start off by saying, because not many people know the term spoonie, and truly for me, I didn't learn it until probably a couple of months ago. But basically, it was brought about by a blogger who has lupus. Her name is Christine, I want to say Miserandino or Miserandino. And she has a website called butyoudontlook.sick.com. And anyway, she was sharing with her friend or trying to explain what it's like to have a chronic illness. And now chronic illness could be lupus, Crohn's, endometriosis. The list truly goes on. But what she was trying to explain is how much energy a person with a chronic illness has each day and how much it is used up by doing simple tasks, just like washing or getting dressed. The reason why I bring this up is because a lot of people will say to people with chronic illnesses, you don't look sick. You look fine. I don't understand why you can't do this certain thing. I know that anytime I tell someone that for me with endometriosis that I spend a day in the bed where I cannot move, their mouths drop and they're like, what do you mean? You can't just, walk, you can't just walk around. You can't do this or that. And I always am like, no, I spend a day in bed every single month. And there's a lot of things out there that people talk about what you can do when you have a chronic illness. And I am better for talking about what I have. I cannot speak for anyone with lupus or with Crohn's because those are different compared to endo. But what I can say as a spoonie is that it seems like it's a simple task to just get up, do your thing. I used to be told all the time, why don't you just walk it off, walk the pain off? And you would think that would work. You would think that maybe if you walk, that'll kind of move the muscles and help it not be painful. But what they didn't know, and what I didn't know until later in life, is that you can't just do that. Yes, can I say that if you work out, it helps you feel a little better? Yes. Can I say that if you eat well, it'll help you feel a little better? Yes. But I can only say that for myself. Because the thing is, when someone has Crohn's, lupus, or endo, everybody assumes that you have the same exact symptoms, the same exact treatment possibilities, and the same exact fitness and nutrition ways to go about it. But what's not understood is that our bodies are all different. So what may work for one person may not work for another. What I have learned for myself is that if I work out, if I eat well, then my period won't be as bad. But does that mean it won't be painful? Absolutely not. I still have to take a lot of ibuprofen. I have to use 2 heating pads, and I still get bedridden. The best thing though is that I do have a work from home job, which makes things a lot better because I used to lose my sick time over this. I actually lost my vacation time to it as well because the thing is, every month I was bedridden, and that's about, so you have that like once a month, and then on top of that, it all depended on how my eating habits were. Did I work out that month? If it were going to be worse. And stress is awful when you're a spoonie. I feel like if you were to think of that theory that Christine talks about where, it's all about the energy you have, stress is like taking all of your spoons and throwing them in the garbage because it takes up a lot of energy. And it's crazy what stress can do to the body and what trauma can do to the body, which I think we've really touched base on and covered about. But the reason why I bring these things up is because I wanted to help explain that when you're a spoonie, when you have a chronic illness, even when you have mental health things that hit the fan, when you have depression, anxiety that you cannot control, it's so much deeper than your looks. It's so much deeper than, oh, you're smiling today. And I think it's important that we really focus on that because I think it's what can help us help others and understand. I think the biggest thing is people want to be understood. And maybe you can't understand like what they're going through, but to understand that, hey, today I don't feel good. Today, I'm not going to be able to get out of bed. And I wanted to talk about this because it happens so often where we judge so quickly and we tear people down so quickly and we say, I don't believe you because I don't see it. And I think it's important to know when you're a spoonie, it affects more than just your body. It affects your mental health. There are times where mentally I'm not great. There are times I'm on a low. And I know, and I'm, for the people that are listening that know me, I'm usually a fairly positive person. I'm usually someone that is trying to cheer everyone else up. But there are times you don't feel good and you feel upset and angry at the situation or depressed or tired. And there are people in my endo groups, and I know it's not just with endo, it's with most and all probably chronic illnesses, where there are people that want to give up because they're tired of fighting, they're tired of losing their energy, they're tired of just being tired and in pain. The other day I learned that endo is the most painful, I guess, thing in the world. And I should find out, I should say the source for this before I like go on with that, but I'll find that for the description. But anyway, it's easy to get lost in the scary parts of it. For example, when I had my laparoscopy, I was devastated that I was going to have this surgery and they could possibly tell me, no, you don't have this at all. And I would wonder, why do I feel all of these feelings? Why am I always in pain? Or they would find something and not find enough, because I had read at this point that people get like up to 11 plus surgeries in their lifetime from endo. And I remember I did go through a depression after it, because I didn't feel pretty. I didn't feel like myself. I didn't feel good. And even though I just had a surgery that's supposed to help me, I didn't feel good about it. But something that I have clung on to, and something that I've found has helped me get through a lot of scary shit, is the following, I guess, mantra that I told myself. This mantra is, this is only temporary. And it sounds so simple, but I have needed it in some very dark times. I have needed it when I thought that there was not a light at the end of the tunnel. I have needed it when I have been on my knees begging for the pain to go away. Because, it sounds so simple, like, oh, okay, you're bedridden for a day. That's it. Not exactly. It's so painful. It's nauseating. It brings on stress. It brings out sadness, feeling that way. And it makes you be like, is this going to be my whole life? Is this what forever will look like? You start to go into the not so good thinking processes. And truly, if I did not have counseling, I am unsure who or where I would be today. Because you can go to a dark place. You can go to a really dark place. It's so much deeper than just an illness that you can't see. It's so much deeper than just an awareness. It is my life. Now, I have followed things that have been given to me, such as nutrition, fitness. But the thing is, as any human, consistency is the hardest. You'd think, well, if this makes the pain a little bit less, why don't you do this all the time? Well, here's the thing. When you have to eat a certain way, when you have to work out I shouldn't say a certain way, because as long as it's really fitness, when you have to work out, after a while, consistency can fail because you're human. And maybe there are people that can just continue on and on and on and not stop. But I know for me, I get on the bandwagon, I fall off the bandwagon. I get on the bandwagon, I fall off the bandwagon. Consistency is something I struggle with. Consistency is hard. It's honestly the reason why I have hired a fitness trainer. It's the reason why I've hired a nutritionist. It's the reason why I've hired a counselor. I've hired all of these people because I need accountability. And it is what's going to make, again, it's not going to cure me. It's not going to make me not feel pain, because I have done like months and months of following exactly the right way, quote unquote, to feel good, but it doesn't take away the pain, because it can't take away what endo does to your body. Just like in any other chronic illness, it can't take that away. You can do as best as you can, but consistency is so hard. And just because you do really well and perfectly doesn't mean you're not going to feel anything at all. I decided to share a lot about this because recently I've been talking to both sides. I've been talking to people who are spoonies, and I've been talking to people who have not had to luckily deal with anything like this. And I've noticed that it's it's so much more than what we say. And I want to be transparent. I don't want to be a half-assed person and be like, yeah, I mean, this is what happens. That's it. Here's my perfect Instagram feed of me living life perfectly and beautifully. It's not beautiful all the time. And I think it's important for us to humanize ourselves more. Even if you don't want to humanize with people around you, at least humanize it for yourself. And to be able to say, you know what? I do not feel good. But I know that there are other people that also do not feel good with me. And I know that this is temporary. And I know that I have been through this before. In my case, every single month, I know what I'm getting into. So I've created a playlist where I listen to music that tries to keep my mindset right. I've gone into fitness to try to keep my body to where it can handle or not have to experience as much pain. I've gone to my counselor to help me deal with the stresses of life or of the things that still haunt me to this day. I recently learned about endo that there was like a certain percentage of people that had it after trauma. And I started thinking, and this is just a question I don't know the answer to, but for those of you that have a chronic illness, for those of you that are sick, have you been through trauma or experienced trauma? Because I'm starting to wonder if it has a connection to our health issues. And I'm not saying that it is the end all be all. I'm just saying a lot of the people that I know who are struggling with some form of illness or some form of something has had trauma happen to them at some point in their lives. And it's just strange to me that not only can stress attack your body, because it's insane what stress can do, but I mean, it makes sense that trauma and stress would coincide too. But it's like what trauma can do to your body. Um, it baffles me. And I know I'm kind of going in circles here, but I wanted to share these things because I just want the other spoonies that are out there to know that you are seen, you are heard. What you're going through is only temporary. And I know you might be repeating it on whatever cycle your body has you repeating it, even if it is sporadic. Know that this is only temporary. You've gotten through and you've seen the light. You've gotten past that point. Some days your energy is going to be low, and that's when you need rest. There are going to be many people that tell you what you should do, what they feel they think you should do. But know this, we're human. We are going to mess up. We're not always going to be able to follow the exact perfect line, but there is hope. There is healing, and there are people there that are going through the same thing. Maybe not the same way, but that are supportive and understanding of this. And a lot of people do not have support. A lot of people are looked at as, well, I don't physically see this as an issue, so there's nothing wrong. And honestly, it's heartbreaking to even read or watch people that know nothing about it say it. Because I can tell you, if the shoe were on the other foot, we would turn around, put our hand out, and say, let me help you up, or I'm going to walk with you on this path because I understand what you're going through. I think that's something that I would have loved to have heard back when I, didn't understand what was going on. And I think a lot of times the reason why I record stuff like this is because I just want to be able to put it out there in case someone for the very first time is struggling with a chronic illness or struggling with whatever it is, that darkness that I cannot see, but they can see. As my therapist would say, you can see the tiger, but other people can't. I know that I can't see your tiger, but I will do my damn best to let you know that that tiger is real. It's there. I can't see it, but I believe you and I know it's there. And know that you're not alone. Because a lot of times, spoonies, people in the darkness, they think they're alone. They think they're by themselves. They think no one can understand because people tell them they can't and don't understand. And that's difficult. And the thing is, it's not to say it's bad for you to tell someone that you don't understand. What's a bit harmful is giving them answers or giving them advice when you really don't understand. That is when it becomes harmful, because what place can you share with them of understanding? Like, how can you give advice if you don't even know? How can you, because there's a difference. There's a difference between supporting somebody and having that, trying to understand and trying to be there for them, and then acting like you support them, but then basically telling them that it's false. Those are the things that are not good for people that are struggling. It's important for us to understand that, hey, maybe I don't know what you're going through, but I can say that I will love you as you go through this. If we had more grace like that, I just feel like it would get people closer and closer to seeing that this is only temporary and that they will get through it. And that one day, hopefully, the awareness spreads so wide and gets to that person that figures out, something to help even more and more and more. Now, I know I've spouted off, but this is a message I just wanted to get out there to support my spoonies, those fighting with something dark, those who just need to hear, I see you, because this podcast was built off of showing you a rawness and a side that you may not even know, but also showing you that love exists, and that, and not in a awkward manner, but in a manner of, I love you and I want to help people. And I want people to know that they're not alone. And I feel like in every episode, somewhere, somehow, I'm telling you, you're not alone. So I know this was kind of an odd podcast, but I really just wanted to be there for my friends. There's a lot of people that I know struggling right now, and they're struggling silently. But just know that I see you, I love you, and if you need to go and talk to somebody, or if you need anything at all, even if you can just leave with these parting words, this would be that affirmation, is that this is only temporary. With that, you are loved, you are worthy, you are cherished, and I am proud of you. Until next time, on the Breathe Pod.